Good evening and welcome to a Magpie Circle special, live from Darmstadt in Germany. Landed safely today, planes, trains and automobiles to get here. And delighted to be joined, if you're looking at the gentleman on my right, David Skelding, who, believe it or not, is a big Notts fan, comes from Retford in Nottingham and lives in Darmstadt. So it was great of Notts to arrange a friendly in his adopted hometown in Germany. We'll be catching up with Dave. Dave will be giving us the lowdown on what we might expect from Darmstadt and the likes of Kaiserslautern and Stuttgart Kickers. Lots of news today, though. Alassane Jatta, I may have made it here. Alassane Jatta hasn't. Problems with his visa, say the club, and so he has not been able to come to Germany. But conspiracy theories, I am sure, will be abounding for a day or two after Alassane's agent has issued a cryptic social media message this afternoon, querying, if you like, the lengths to which Notts went to get a visa. I was fairly disparaging in his comments. I have contacted the club. I've yet to hear back from them just yet to see what they, if anything, have to say in response to Alassane. What are your thoughts? We need a keeper, a senior keeper, with Alex Bass having moved on to Peterborough for a substantial six-figure sum. We've seen, we know Sonny El-Jafrey, Manchester United, on loan Accrington for 20-odd games last season. There have been links with him, but he was on the plane today with the Notts travelling party. We know this because two of our flock were sat with the players. So Sonny is on the plane. He's landed. As we speak, Notts are training. Martin Patterson certainly putting them through the mill at the minute. They left Meadow Lane this morning about 7-8 o'clock, flew out on a Ryanair flight from Stansted to Frankfurt Hahn Airport, and they are busy training literally as we speak ahead of tomorrow's first game of a three game tour starting in Darmstadt. Lots of messages. Let us know what you think so far with what's been going on with new signings. Are you happy, unhappy? I'm sure some of you will have a few thoughts to say on Alassane Jatta as well. We'll focus a little bit on Alassane a little later in the programme. We'll say we're joined by David Skelding for the first half an hour. David, delighted you can join us. Well, you couldn't put a price on it, could you? A Notts County fan now based in Darmstadt, and we come over here to play a game.
I couldn't believe my luck, to be honest, when they... well, first of all, thank you for welcoming me onto the show. Yeah, I couldn't believe my luck at all when the fixture was announced. The first thing, well, I opened Facebook, which is a bad habit of mine, unfortunately. First thing I saw, tour of Germany. That's great. You know, I didn't make it to Duisburg last season, so I was happy to have another bite of the cherry. And then I immediately see Darmstadt's ground. It's recognisable straight away. Been there a couple of times. Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. Obviously, I think a lot of fans will have sacrificed a lot and gone to great lengths to have this tour of Germany, to experience something a little bit different. It'll be unique, interesting. It'll be great for the team as well, a bonding experience, albeit without a couple of players we could have done with. Yeah, I'm just very much looking forward to it tomorrow, and
we love to talk about the weather, don't we, us Brits? And Dave, so you're telling me it's been quite unseasonal, and I'm hoping the broadband in my hotel, which is hovering towards the bottom end of connectivity, I'm hoping it's going to hold out. But there were thunderstorms and all sorts of things, weren't there, yesterday?
Yeah, we've had a spell of extremely hot weather. I've been hearing from home heat wave warnings in the high 20s. And yeah, one night here it was 27 degrees when I went to bed. And then you get up the next morning and it's still 27. It's absolutely stifling. And during the day, we've had high 30s. It's, I don't enjoy that kind of thing very much. It's not what I'm built for. I really should have moved further north, to be honest, where there's a bit of wind and proper weather. And yesterday we had torrential rainfall. Luckily, it's all finished now. We're going to have perfect football weather tomorrow, mid-20s, good for playing, good for watching. We also had a power cut in the early hours of the morning as well. So,
Yeah, well, that power cut was right on cue, or when I mentioned it, because then you started to cut out. But hopefully, we will be able to get through as much as we can on the show.
Yeah.
Messages, as I'm now dipping out on cue. Let's get some thoughts on the message board. Matt Horizon, I've heard some rumours that people have seen Sonny El Jafrey on the plane that the players took. Absolutely. I've been in the Lucian Plaza, or however you pronounce it, and met father and son combination who were actually on the plane. They didn't realise Notts would be on the same plane, but they were chatting with the players and saw some of the new signings, and they saw Sonny there as well. So although Notts haven't officially announced anything yet, I do believe it will be a season-long loan from Manchester United. Royston asks an obvious question that I'm sure we'll be debating a little bit later in the programme. What do you think about Jatta's visa not going through? Could this have been on purpose, do you think? Charlie Capewell, glad the trialists are with them. Really like the look of Stevenson and Sawyers. Matt Cook, sign El Jafrey, Sawyers and Stevenson, and we're looking a lot stronger than last season, in my opinion. Derek Flowers, Saturday's game might be streamed on their YouTube channel, and next Tuesday's game is set to stream. Details on the Notts website. Yeah, you will not, I don't believe, be able to watch anything of tomorrow night's game. Club will obviously be putting some stuff out. We're doing our live video blog. The blog I've done today, met a few Notts fans in the square, as I've said. That'll be out from about 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. So you can catch up and see what Darmstadt is like, hear from a few Notts fans, and get the latest of what's happening over here. Matt Cook, I'm assuming Jatta is on his way out, and probably best for all parties at this stage. He said he's not happy. Clearly had his head turned in January and never recovered. We'll have to replace accordingly. As for his agent, if he wants to progress, I think he needs a new one. If we can get a decent fee for Alassania, let him go, says Ian Cooksey. I would point out here that this is being based on the fact of a comment from his agent. Alassania, the club weren't able to get a visa for him, which means he will be back training with the B squad, under 21s, under 18s. He can't come out here. Jody Jones, for anyone who's worried that they've not seen him in the various videos today, he was given kind of a bit of a leave of absence, having been on international duty. That's why he wasn't involved on Saturday. He's due to be coming out on Friday. Evening all from Ray Newton. Chris Gosling says, I found the collective negativity over the summer quite depressing, to be honest. Jeff Parkin, hi, Dave. This is you, as in Dave Skeldin. Good to see you on here. Remember our email chats when I lived in Worms. I don't know if you spelt that wrong. Worms a few years ago. Worms? Well, what's that, Dave? Do you understand? That's a typo or a joke?
It's a town. It's called Worms. They pronounce it Worms, but it is spelt like the English word worms, which is highly amusing. It amuses me.
Yeah. So you're from Retford originally?
Yes, I'm a North Nottinghamshire wildling. I started to watch Notts in my teens. I used to have a season ticket. I used to drive down the A614 every home game. And in 2007, well, yeah, in 2007, I managed to get a job in Germany, which was the first time I was truly exiled from Notts, so unable to see matches. And yeah, since then I've also been watching a lot of German football, not Darmstadt. I didn't live in Darmstadt at the time. I lived in Heidelberg and then in Mannheim. And my team was, well, it still is, Waldhof Mannheim here in Germany. And I used to have a season ticket up to COVID, and I haven't been as regularly since. But I'm hoping to get more into it next season. So yeah, so I still kind of get my football fix over here. But I've also travelled around to various different grounds. I think Kaiserslautern was the first one, actually. Kaiserslautern was the first Bundesliga game I went to. Yeah, it was actually before I moved out here permanently, about 2004, 2005. Took the trip over with a friend. It must have been just after the winter break because it was so cold, there were icicles on the seats. It felt like a very long match, but yeah, unfortunately we're not playing in the big stadium, although it would probably been far too big for pre-season friendly, really. Nearly 50,000 capacity. But there is something a bit special about walking up to the top of the hill and just seeing this absolute colossus there. Yeah, I saw them play a couple of times. I saw them play against Duisburg as well, who Notts played last pre-season. They were both in the Bundesliga at the time, and they both got relegated that season. It was a 5-3 win for Kaiserslautern, but with the defending on show, I wasn't particularly surprised when they both went down that season. Yeah.
What would, I mean, in terms of comparable qualities, standards? So Darmstadt had a brief sojourn in the Bundesliga not too long ago, or the main Bundesliga. They were relegated. They're in Bundesliga 2. So what sort of standard are Darmstadt? Are they broadly equivalent, for instance, of a second-tier English club, a championship side? Or what would your thoughts and views be on that in terms of the test Notts will get?
I think so, yes. I think you can broadly compare Bundesliga 2 to the Championship and the third division to League 1 in Germany. I think the Premier League is obviously a bit different due to all of the massive amounts of money in there. And from the fourth level on in Germany, it's regionalised. So you have a very differing standard of play. I think the best fourth division teams would definitely be able to more than compete at League 2 level, but you also have village teams in there, semi-professional teams that would be a couple of leagues down in non-league. So I think, we certainly got a tough test coming up. Also, German sides their season starts slightly earlier, so they tend to start pre-season training earlier. So they'll also be a little bit sharper. I'm kind of expecting them to also look a little bit sharper than us. So yeah, it's a bit tough. I'm looking forward to seeing how they do.
Matt Cook says, Dave, I'm a German speaker here, and I used to live in Berlin and to follow Hertha. And the first game I saw was at Darmstadt, I believe. Matt says, I'd say Bundesliga 2 is a weak championship, top end of League 1. Either way, Matt, I think we can agree Darmstadt will be a pretty decent test for Notts, subject to, I guess, the players they put out tomorrow. Certainly, I think we can say it will be a tougher test than Alfreton. And certainly, Martin Patterson went out of his way to praise Alfreton. But, we are playing a full-time professional team tomorrow evening. It's 6:30 kickoff, I believe, at our time here in Germany. So it will be, if I've got this right, is it 6:30 tomorrow, David? I'm getting confused with my times
Yes,
now.
it's 6:30 here. It must be 5:30 in the UK.
5:30. So I think it will be a proper test for Notts, this one. And as I say, as we are talking now live, the players are having their first training session in Germany. Let's just get a few more thoughts. John Parr says, the signing so far, I'm very disappointed, Paul. Shows a lack of ambition for me. Not one player, except possibly El Jafrey, are standout additions. Hope you have a great week away, says Dave Hartshaw. Elvis Bott just got here. Me, cousin, niece and dad, after a long drive. Cool, blimey, that is a long drive. It's not cheap to get here, to be fair. We're talking with Dave at the minute. Before the show, I mean, I came on British Airways from Heathrow, but yeah, with school holidays, July. It's not cheap to get into Germany at the minute. So I think everyone that's making the attempt from Notts fans to get here, very, very well done indeed. Any other thoughts have we got? Chris Gosling's busy on the message boards as always. Nigel Cameron, rumours. Here we go. Rumours. Notts are after a 6'2" striker called Toby Larone. Says Nigel. I have no idea about the veracity of that or authenticity. Right, Dave. What sort of crowd are we going to expect tomorrow? I reckon maybe 200 Notts fans. I mean, I believe Darmstadt are unveiling their new kit. And I'm led to believe from some of the Notts tweets and speaking with them today that we are due, don't hold me to this, due to be unveiling the mint green kit that was unveiled today. What sort of crowds do Darmstadt normally get? Capacity is about 17,000 in their stadium, isn't it?
Yeah. The capacity is just under 18,000. They usually fill it for Bundesliga matches, for league matches. If we're a little bit below capacity, it's usually because the away end isn't full. So yeah, we're talking about 15,000, 16,000 home fans. I mean, a few, when was it? It must have been 10, 15 years ago when they had an incredible run from actually relegated from the third division, being reprieved and going all the way up to the Bundesliga. It completely remade the club. Before they used to play. What did the ground look like? It was like a kind of a vast concrete bowl, really. Quite a traditional German ground in many ways, with a running track around the pitch, and a main stand along one touchline. And they got crowds of about 2,000 or 3,000 at that point. And lost my words. Yeah, they made it to the Bundesliga in successive seasons, and they've established themselves, not in the top flight, but certainly in the top two divisions, and it's transformed the club and the whole town, well, the whole cities. A lot of the cities very much behind them. In Darmstadt, you also get plenty of Eintracht Frankfurt fans. You know, they're the largest team in the region. But yeah, they're a well-supported club now. We can't expect anything like that for pre-season friendly, obviously. My benchmark is, I know they played Coventry City last season during pre-season, and there were 4,500 there, including 500 from Coventry, which, okay, but that was on a weekend, which is obviously quite a lot easier. I don't know. I would probably expect maybe 3,000 if I'm guessing. I've looked at some of the seat plans. Not all of the grounds being used, but the main stands being open and the big stand opposite. So it's only the two ends behind the goal that are closed. And some of the blocks in the main stand are nearly sold out. I was quite impressed when I look. In A block, where the Notts fans are, is about 70% full. The next block along is nearly completely empty. So I don't know, but but I was quite impressed to see how full the A block was. But the Darmstadt have also marketed that as a neutral block and have kind of encouraged people to mix. There may be some home fans who want a good look at us in there as well. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, it'll be a decent run out. Chris Gossing says credit German football. At all levels, pricing makes it still much a game of the people. I know you used to get travel to the ground included with season tickets at some clubs. John Parr, German supporters are some of the best fans in Europe for support of their teams, no matter which league they are in. And yeah, the Retford angle from where you hail from originally, Dave, did intrigue me because that was my first job a long time ago on the Retford Times newspaper. The only other Retford Notts County fan I knew of when I was 18 years old working in Retford was Paul Sexton. And of course, right on cue, Paul's on the message board here. It says, "Hi Dave, are you Phil's lad?" So was Phil your dad?
I am Phil's lad.
There you go. The
so
Retford
there I go. Yes,
the Retford Twig Notts County Supporters Club grows ever bigger. Anyone else from Retford out there? Fred Curry, who used to be. Sorry, go on, Dave.
I knew of a couple at school as well, but I didn't really know them very well. So if anyone recognises me, then say hello.
Yeah, Fred Curry, who was back in the late 70s, early 80s, was a reserve team physio. And he was based out in Retford. He was about the only other one I knew of. Show regular Jurgen Halligan is based out in Ollerton with his cats, Cagney and Lacey. But anyway, these things amuse me at times in terms of where all our fans come from, hail from, and travel to. Derek Flowers says, Paul, where's the shirts, mate? I travelled very light. All my possessions, including equipment, cameras, pair of pants, T-shirt, are in this bag. Don't want to be messing around at airports, do you, with bags and things? That's it. That's it for me for a few days. So I didn't have any room to bring me Notts shirts, I'm afraid. Right. Kaiserslautern, you've mentioned that one already. I mean, it's not actually that big a place, is it, Dave? But just has sheer fanaticism for its football club.
Yes, I think Kaiserslautern is like you said, Kaiserslautern's only about the size of Mansfield. It's really not a very big, or to be honest, not a particularly glamorous place to visit. It's dominated by its football club. But what it is today, it's almost like a national team of their federal state.
Right.
It's in quite an isolated place, and they get a lot of supporters from quite a long way away. Kaiserslautern. I mean, they've won championships as well. I think they profited quite a lot from the early days of the Bundesliga. When Germany won the FA Cup, when they won the World Cup in 1954, there was a backbone of Kaiserslautern players there, and I think that kind of helped the club really catch the imagination. Certainly and also in the early Bundesliga era, and that enabled the club to grow. I mean, they've sold 30. I think they've broken the season ticket record this season. They sold about 32,000 season tickets. So that's a season ticket for every third person in Kaiserslautern. Yeah, like I said, I've been there a couple of times. They were both spur of the moment things. I could get a ticket fairly easily because they didn't quite sell out, but with the stadium holding just under 50,000, possibly no wonder. But yeah, it is a really interesting place to watch football. Yeah.
Andy Eason continuing the Retford connection. Retford's got more airtime than it has in the last 10 years. Andy says, my Trent Bridge hero, Derek Randall, is from Retford. Indeed, he was Retford's very own sporting hero or cricketing hero.
He's one of the very few celebrities from Retford. Retford is Derek Randall. I think he's even got a street named after him.
He has, hasn't he? Randall Way. Yeah, Randall Way. Matt Arnold says, looking on Darmstadt's website, if you're going to the game by car, it is recommended that you park in the city and travel in by public transport. Apologies if said already. And Nigel Cameron claims, I'm not sure I believe what he bloody says after his Toblerone gag earlier that did me again. I once delivered furniture to Derek Randall's house. Chris Gosling asks, the matchday vlogs a new addition for the coming season or a one-off? We'll see how they go. The first one seemed to have been fairly well received, so we may well look to make it a regular thing if that's what you want. We will do that. There's plenty of vlogs coming your way from Germany. As I say, the first one should be out tomorrow morning, so you can take a look. I'm going to pay an early visit to the stadium tomorrow morning and do a bit of footage and all the rest of it from their stadium. It's about a couple of miles out, so the walk will do me good. Right, before we let you go, Dave, because I'm sure you've got better things to be doing than being on the Magpie Circle. It's been great to have you on. Give us a bit of German, if you like, background. Darmstadt. So there's a few of the lads arrived. El Tel, who I know has messaged me earlier to say there was a delay on Eurostar. So he's probably now not going to be in till about midnight. So where are the good places? I was going to say eat, but I think most people will be just really bothered about the good places to drink.
Ratskeller.
Where?
I want the Ratskeller, which is on. Yeah, there's a market. Is it from? Yeah, the market square is right opposite the palace.
Yes.
And on the other side of that, you can't really miss it. Is a quite an ornate white building, and that's a very well-known pub restaurant. They do traditional German food. They have their own brewery. You'll see a lot of Darmstadt fans outside there on a match day, but it's all very relaxed, and pre-season it will be anyway. I can often go there. I can very highly recommend it.
Very good. So there's the recommendation.
Cyprus
Ref says, I agree with Dave. I was stationed at USAF base at Ramstein, 93 to 96. Went to a Kaiserslautern game, great atmosphere. They were playing Frankfurt, which at the time was a big derby game. Luke's dad is listening from Crete. Andy Easom says a little clip of the players having a look inside the stadium has just been posted. So, Dave, any final thoughts? You obviously will be we'll all be in A block by the sounds of it tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Final thoughts? Not really, to be honest. No, I'm just like I said, I'm very much looking forward to seeing a bit of our preparation up close and personal. It's having an away match, a 20-minute tram ride away is brilliant for me. But massive credit to everybody who's going to the expense and effort of flying over from England, especially at this time of year. It's not a cheap thing to do. But yeah, I hope everyone hope you all have have a great experience here. It might not be the full German football experience with them being pre-season friendlies, but it'll certainly be an interesting week. There'll be plenty of memories to take back.
Dave, thank you ever so much for joining us. Look forward to catching up tomorrow in A Block, along with lots of other Notts fans, I am sure. We'll let you crack on. We'll now move on to the second half of the programme, and we'll dive a bit more into incomings, outgoings. And I want to start off with I guess the big news of the day with Alessandro Jatta, who's not involved in this squad. What are our thoughts and and our views? We've lost one of our key players already with Alex Bass being sold. I'm interested in your thoughts. How important do you think Alessandro is to Notts next season? He, of course, can't play in at least the first 2 games. There is some conjecture at the minute. Notts haven't yet clarified as to exactly how many games he could miss. He certainly would miss the first 2. What are your thoughts? Do conspiracy theories abound regards Alessandro with him not being on this tour? How important do you think he is to Notts next season? I certainly think he's important. We've lost 20 goals already with the departure of David McGoldrick. So we need some goals. We need some goals. Your thoughts on Alex Bass? I think that one caught us all on the hop, didn't it? Would you support the decision to sell him? Do you think it was good business? What would your take be on that? Let's have your thoughts and your views on that one. And what do you think of the new kit? Mint green today, unveiled. For what it's worth, I quite like it, and it seems to have gone down quite well. I believe that's on sale. Is it next week? I think, or is it Friday? I can't quite remember. I'm sure someone will remind me. Matt Arnold says Jatta's agent upsetting the apple cart on Twitter. Chris Gosling says an opportunity for Dennis and Traore to show their credentials. At least one of them I envisage starting against Newport. Matt Cook, Alex Bass. Sounds from Martin Patterson's comments that he wanted to go. So I'm glad he's gone, and we've supposedly got good money for him. We don't have time or space for people who don't want to be here. The away kit is on sale on the 18th of July, clarifies Richard Elvian. PJ Defiance. I think Bass was going no matter what team, from what I read from Peterborough chairman, was chasing him since April. Joe Cotty. I would have liked to have had more signings by now. Any incomings now will miss a big chunk of pre-season, which I think is a very valid point. New away kit looks smart, says Stephen Newton. I'll have one of those. Stuart Robertson. Alex Bass is a huge loss. Was it worth it? Depends on how much we got for him, but he must have been one of the very best in League One and League Two. Andy Eason. I think the sale of Alex has disrupted things somewhat. It does appear that the brothers are adopting a model along the lines of, if basically any player is available to be sold, if the right price, which matches the brothers' valuation, is reached. Some people would say if you sell your best players, you seldom will get promotion. It's an interesting debate. I remember when we had Martin Allen doing the Christmas live show. You know, his point was, you sell your best players, you don't get promoted 9 times out of 10. Let's see what we can do. Senga Schmidt says, get what we can for Jatta. Head's been turned. Poor first touch. Killer Klein. Bass, good business if, there's a big if there, if we get a suitable replacement. Richard Elvin, will there be a third kit this season? I believe there's only 2 to be launched at this stage. So whether there is then, Richard, the possibility of, I guess they would call it a limited edition third kit later in the season. PJ Defiance, I would like to still see the brothers be a bit more braver in the transfer window. Chris Gosling, we're a League 2 club. While that's the case, we'll always be a selling club. First time in years our players have been desirable to clubs further up the pyramid. Just because we're in League 2, Chris, why will we always be a selling club? Alex Bass was under contract, had 2 years left of his contract to run. The end of the day, I'm not saying we should sell him or shouldn't have sold him, but we didn't have to sell him if we didn't want to. The player was under contract, So I think if I'm not sure we're a selling club yet, but I think events of the past few months would maybe alert other clubs to the possibility that any and all of our players can be bought, which I'm not sure is a great look. Ian Cooksey, business is business. Have a look across the river. Bought a player for 15 million, sell him for 55 million. Yeah, and they bought plenty of players for 30 million and sold them for 5. Harry Arter, Richard Elvian, third kit seemed more like a away kit last season. Money talks, says Chris Gosling. How are the season ticket sales going? Says Malk Vos. Not seen the latest update. Bass at 27 is probably on his biggest contract he'll get in his career with the move. We can't compete with that. Well, look, Chris, we can't compete with what Peterborough offer, but while he's under contract to us, we hold the cards. I don't begrudge any player moving higher up the pyramid, but we hold his registration, we hold his contract. So we don't have to sell. We chose to sell the player, which I think is an important differentiation. I think the really important point to be discussed with Alassania is that, as I understand it, he has 1 year left of his contract to run. Now, he and David McGoldrick got the best part of 40 goals between them last season. We've already lost David McGoldrick's 20. Alassania, if he stays this season, which his agent will be within his rights and the player absolutely to run their contract down, you run the risk of losing the value of the player when it comes to the end of the season, moving abroad for potentially nothing. So I think it's an interesting stick or twist for the club in the sense that to protect his transfer value, normally a club, when a player is going into the final year of their contract, they would offer him another contract to protect the transfer value, and often would put in a guaranteed release clause if a certain figure was met. So I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting as to what happens with Alassania. I think maybe people are reading too much into the fact he's not got a visa. I, for one, for me, I think if you sell Alassania Jatta, having sold Alex Bass, then I think the alarm bells are really starting to ring in terms of whether you have sufficient quality within this group of players to mount a promotion charge. And ultimately, we got rid of a manager last year for not getting us promoted, but who got us in the playoffs. So one can only assume the ambition this season has to be automatics. And that, I think, is the yardstick by which you've got to judge the quality of the squad that we are assembling. Anyway, feel free to chuck in your own 2 penneth on that. PJ Defiance, has the passion from the brothers gone? I don't think the passion has gone. I think they are looking now to exert the model a bit more. It certainly seems to have moved on with the technical board. What are our thoughts on that? The technical board and the committee, with the director of medical science, director of football, and potentially the brothers all involved at varying levels for various meetings of the technical board. PJ makes the point that a lot of fans have in terms of sorting the asset value of the club with the building of the Nest, the new training ground, and talking about whether it makes it more attractive to sell. The single most important thing that makes a football club attractive to sell and gets the best possible value for the club, PJ, is where they are competing in the football pyramid. Full stop. Cyprus Ref says, as stated, Bass wanted to go. He is professional, so would expect him to play at 100%, but possibly disrupts changing room if someone not happy. You see, I'm not sure about this Alex Bass desperately wanting to go. I'm not buying that. If I'm being brutally honest with it, that's not my understanding. Don't think he was rattling cages. Don't think he was desperate to go. No, I don't think that is the case. I don't think that is the case. I think this was a decision by the brothers that their valuation of the player was reached, and therefore they were prepared to let him to move on. Melk Vos, is there going to be panic buying come August just to get a decent sized squad? Just hope the brothers playing the ball, not the man. Agree, Paul. Read Jatta. Will Morris, think Jatta's stock is a bit lower than it was in January now. Makes sense for him to give the next half season a good go and get a move next transfer window if that's what he's after. Okay. Ian Cooksey, I agree. I hope we don't embark on a Giovanni Brown type on the last day of the window. Get your players in now and try and get a settled squad. On the subject of the technical board, says Chris Gosling, it's a different approach. Can't really judge it until I see it in action. Certainly not writing it off as ridiculous before a ball is kicked. Paul Sexton, the Retford branch. Macy, don't forget Dave Gilson. Yes, Dave was a nuts man, wasn't he? He weren't quite as mental as you and I were, but yes, he was certainly of a black and white persuasion. Chris Gosling adds, people accusing the brothers of shopping in the bargain basement, signing Kuyar. Then the same people saying he was the best player Saturday. Sums the fan base up. Calm down, Chris. I have said, you know me. The most important thing in games of football is the result. The result at Alfreton was immaterial. The result tomorrow will be immaterial. The result against Kaiserslautern will be immaterial. These are friendlies. Do not judge players on 45 minutes against Alfreton. You know, I think you have to look at it a lot more holistically than that. NCFC World says, from what we all know, the brothers keep all their business deals behind closed doors, and I do feel that with their football radar, they would have players ready to come in. If they can find players like Macca and Bass, they can find some more gems too. Adi Clark, welcome Adi. Sad that I couldn't see you at on home turf at Alfred on Saturday. Feel that Notts now attract players that have a good chance to improve and develop quickly to then get an opportunity of a club in a higher league. Jatta has signed for that exact reason. Greza Maxwell, people saying Bass wanted out. He never let the club down on the pitch. And that's a very good point, Greza. Absolutely. You know, one of our top 3 or 4 players last season. You know, absolutely. Here's one. I'm not going to go on too long, so I've got to finish my vlog off, and we're an hour ahead. Let's have some constructive comments fired in on the message boards, please. Where are we with this group of players right now compared to where we were at the start of last season? And I'll even say clearly we're going to sign an experienced keeper. So I don't think you can kind of say we're a lot weaker because we've got 2 young keepers. Clearly we are going to sign an experienced keeper of some sort. So where do you think we are, the squad now, compared to the squad last season? We finished 6th last season under Stuart Maynard. Are you expecting us to finish better than that and go for automatic, or do you think it could be a battle on to get to the playoffs? Let's see your thoughts on that. Malk Vos, whilst not judging players in the friendlies, what we can judge is the intent of the people that are moving and shaking at the top. I think Malcolm's point, correct me if I'm wrong, Mal, is the business done by other clubs. Clearly, MK Dons are on a different plane from a League Two perspective compared to the rest of us. I think Chesterfield looked to have been doing some reasonable business as well. Okay, right. We've got some comments to read. Let me read these out. Richard Elvian, I think we are weaker without David McGoldrick. Matt Cook, I think if we sign El Jafre, Sawyers and Stevenson, we're a lot closer, but still short of 1 or 2 playmakers. Joe Cotty makes an interesting comment. Could be a fresh start for us. Clean slate with new manager. Andy Easom, I get the feeling we're going to have more loan players in the squad than we had when the window closed a year ago. John Parr, if season was tomorrow, 11th or 12th, we would finish. Gary Smithhurst, we are weaker. No Didsey, Crowley, Bass, big losses. New signings, largely unproven. Nigel Cameron, I'm totally undecided. Ray Newton, playoffs, possible, but no automatics unless we bring in a couple of experienced players. NCFC World, I'd say making it to playoffs is realistic. Chris Gosling, still think we have a squad that would be suited to a different formation, which would let our attacking players play further forward. Ian Cooksey, in my honest opinion, I think we are weaker. A creative midfielder would certainly be a positive. PJ Defiance, outside of the playoffs right now. Derek Flowers, not anywhere near playoffs. Hope I'm wrong, obviously. Matt Cook, agree with you, Chris, regards a change of formation. AD Clark, definitely playoffs, but doubt we will go up automatic. Missed you too, Paula Alfred, and loved the new blog. It's a bromance with AD Clark, me and AD. NCFC World, there's a rumour of a Man United centre-back. Is that hearsay or some truth behind it? That's Sonny El Jafre, NCFC World. He's with the Notts County travelling party here in Germany as we speak. John Gregory, looking at my stats, I look at improvements with some players that have gone, but only see if it is right when they play. Ian Cooksey, look at Ruben Rodriguez now playing in Brazil. Great move for him. One more question, because that was a good debate, and I thought a lot of people made some very respectful and salient comments. Martin Patterson, what are our thoughts on Martin? Are we all now judging him on the fact he's very animated on the touchline at Alfred, which he was, in sharp contrast to some of his predecessors? Seems to speak very honestly, seems to speak directly. We did still play a 3. We didn't play a 4 at all on Saturday. Not necessarily read a lot into that. What are our thoughts now we've had time to see him? What are our thoughts on Martin as the new head coach? I'll just give you 10 seconds to get on those keyboards. NCFC World says, yeah, thanks for the update on El Jafre, Paul. Matt Cook says, quite like what I've heard from Martin so far, but time will tell once we're in the thick of it. We'll soon find out how much respect the squad has for him. PJ Defiance, Martin is unproven so far for me, sadly. Only time will tell. Joe Cotty, I think I wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of Martin. We have been speaking with the club, and we're hoping in the next, once we're back from Germany, the next 2 weeks before a ball is kicked in League Two, to have Martin on the show. We've done one-on-ones in the past with managers, and looking forward to doing one with Martin. I suspect I'll have to be on my mettle on that one. Richard Elvian, didn't think Martin should have called Macari out for a couple of bad balls. Chris Gosling, yeah, players who've played for him previously have joined us, admittedly on loan, but still says something to me. Give the bloke a proper chance, says Ian Cooksey. Got to be a step up from Ian somewhere, says Andrew Gregory. John Parr speaks well, but I'll wait till September to fully judge. Andy Eason, I saw Ollie Norburn is on the trip, just for the fitness side of things, I guess. A.D. Clark, think he will be a breath of fresh air. Comes across well, but imagine you wouldn't want to bump into him down a dark alley. NCFC World, I do like his honesty. Seems like these players won't be able to get away with anything. Like the interview, says John Gregory, but time will tell. Derek Flowers, our coach won't stand for any players not pulling their weight. He's a shouter, all right. I do know I've spoken to one or two of the players, and we're at the Notts County Golf Day last week, and they were a little bit late getting on the tee because they've been doing extended training on Thursday morning. I think it's fair to say that the level of training has been very, in the old days, you'd call it a beasting. In the modern parlance, I think you would say it's intense. But he's certainly working extremely hard, let's put it like that, on players' fitness. And he's looking, to change things, be a little bit more direct in the final third. But as always, results will tell once we kick that first ball at Newport. Tickets for Newport, by the way, go on sale on Friday. Those of us with 10 or more, tokens or whatever you want to call it, from last season, get first dibs on Friday morning. I think that just about does us for tonight. Thank you very much for joining us. Our first show from Darmstadt. More to come with these shows. The live vlog, we've spoken to some Notts fans in the, I suppose we call it the town square, earlier this evening, who travelled in on the same plane as the players. Done a bit of a video diary for you along the lines of Saturday's trip to Elfriton that seemed to go down very well. So that'll be posted round about 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. We'll put that out on the socials. By all means, give us some feedback on that. And if it's something that everyone likes, so far they seem to like the first one at any rate, then that's something we'll be looking to do on a regular basis every game next season. So that's just about it from me. From Germany. Matt Cook is, well, I don't know what it is. He's obviously posted in German. I was going to do a bit of a welcome in German, but I thought I might make a bit of a mess of it, so I didn't. So thank you to everyone. Enjoy a large stein of beer. That's a good. Now you're talking my language, Dave Hartson. I will. I'm going to get some food. The body clock's a bit all over the place this morning. I haven't got up at 6. Thanks again, Paul, says NCFC World. Enjoy the trip and come on, you pies. And let's all have a little guess. Right. I'm going to count them, right, tomorrow in A block. How many Notts fans will be at Darmstadt tomorrow? I'm going to go 163. There's no prizes, but let's just see who's closest. I will count them tomorrow and I'll announce it on my vlog. So whack out your numbers now and let's see who gets closest to how many Notts fans will be at Darmstadt Stadium tomorrow. Richard Elvian, 152. Unbelievably, the same number. That seems a bit bizarre. So from Chris Gosling, Everyone's following my lead. 160. The highest so far is 201. And a few people doing the scores as well. Anyway, thank you, everyone, one and all, for your support as always. Thank you to our official partners, JH Accountants. Don't forget, they're doing some shirt competitions for us. So you will come up with some form of competition mechanic. Please, there's a little red button or subscribe. Hit that button on the screen. To be able to win any of our competitions this year, you have to be a subscriber to the channel. Even if you're not going to enter the competition, subscribe. There's lots of things going on this year, and it helps us keep in touch and communicate with you a little bit more quickly and speedily, so you know exactly what, when, and where is going on. So thank you very much indeed. Look forward to seeing you all later this week, and the vlog will be available from Wednesday morning on the day of the game against Darmstadt. Cheers for now. Bye-bye.